What's up, everyone? I'm Scott,
And I'm Jason.
and you're listening to Liquid Carnage. My friend, how are you?
I'm good. I'm continuing my second week in Denver,
Uh-huh.
uh, being here with the family. I'm an extended wing of the family, and it's always so funny because my friend, when he's my best friend, and growing up, he always had a brother and a sister, so he had siblings. I was an only child,
Uh-huh.
and so I always felt like when I was at their house, I was an extension of the family. So now go 30 years in the future. He's got three daughters, and I'm an extension of the family. So it's like things haven't changed a
Hey,
bit.
yeah, some things never change. The more the world changes, some things stay the same.
Yeah, the only difference is he's got an almost 16-year-old daughter. He's got a 14-year-old daughter. He's got an 8-year-old daughter, and sometimes the high pitch frequency of three girls is a little much for me. So I have to go in my room and kind of get in the fetal position for a couple minutes and recharge.
Hey, man, I totally get that because we had our first sleepover this past weekend. Uh, Janice's youngest had two friends, and her oldest had a friend. So we had five girls under the age of 11 here for roughly 21 hours. Not that I was counting. Uh, and Yeah, I get it, man. I totally get it. Like it was an experience, and I think that's the best way to just put it. It was an experience, and I don't envy anyone that has that many kids, let alone that many girls under the house at one time.
Well, and you add that in. I mean, Scott, you've mentioned it before, but part of my responsibilities being here is, when my friend he's a firefighter, so when he works 24 hours, I'm kind of the chauffeur.
Yeah.
And all of them have activities. All of them have like fun things they're doing. Like the oldest one's in volleyball, and the youngest or the middle one, she's in basketball, and the youngest one is just, she's precocious, and it's just fun to be around. And so I've had to be like you, like, okay, I got to take you here. I got to schedule this. I got to make
Oh
sure the
yeah.
timing's right. I got to leave at exactly 8:02 in the morning, or no one makes it to school one time. It's like
Oh yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. You learn to adapt your life to get them at the right place at the right time,
Yes. Yeah.
and it's an adventure, man. But I tell you what, uh, that many girls under one roof, it was total chaos. But at least they kept the chaos contained to the bedrooms. You know, the two oldest stayed in our office. They built a fort out of our Peloton. I'm not sure I'm thrilled with that, but it was fine.
Hey,
And
that's a $3,000 fort. That's cool.
yeah, it's now if you put it on Zillow, it'd be a pretty high price. And that's what I asked. Like you literally have a couch that pulls out in that room, and you slept on the Pelotons because yeah, we didn't want to pull the couch out. You know,
Okay.
okay, okay. That's fine. That's fine. You just bite your tongue and leave, and then 2 a.m. I get up to go use the bathroom. I have to go out there and yell at everybody to go to bed, and they wonder why they're so tired and cranky in the morning. Because I did find out that there is a polka mariachi mashup on YouTube.
Okay.
So I'm a firm believer of if I have to tell you to go to bed that late at night, um, I'm going to get you up when I get up.
Yeah, right. At
You know,
6 o'clock, I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
This is it. It's it. And I did that Labor Day up in Williams, and I have no problem doing that now. So I took a giant speaker and I played that thing on loop, and I think I came close to breaking one of them at least.
Oh
So
boy, yeah, make him cry a little bit.
yeah, it was a rough day, and I was very excited to go watch the final week of football at Chili's, only to find out that Chili's TVs were broken along with their beer drafts. So I had to come back to where I did my damage to finish watching football, and
Oh boy.
yeah, it was a rough weekend. It's a good weekend. It's kind of rough.
So, what are your thoughts on spur of the moment purchases?
I do them all the time.
Okay, so you're familiar with the concept of the spur of the moment.
A little too familiar. That's how I buy most of my vehicles.
Oh. So we Noreen and I had kind of an experience this weekend. Now, obviously, she's in Phoenix and I'm in Denver right now. But I asked her on Saturday. I said, "So what are you doing?" She goes, "Well, I'm going to an open house." I said, "An open house? Why are you going to an open house? And are you going to a particular house?" And so I get a text from her of this house. And one of the things I love about my current house is most of the people that come to our house have always said, "Wow, you got a really good layout here because we have the guest suite that's
Yeah.
on one side of the house. and then they walk out into like a little living sitting area that which is open to the kitchen, which is open to the main living room, and then our room is on the other side, so there's privacy, and it just it's a really nice layout. And one of the things I love about it is this it's a nice layout. One of the things that I don't like about it is the master suite is just a little smaller than what we're used to, and but for the most part, we really like our house. Well, Noreen sends me the Zillow of a house that just got on the market on Friday, and it's in a neighborhood that's a really nice neighborhood in Central Phoenix, North Central Phoenix, a very nice little neighborhood. The house is maybe 300 square foot bigger than ours, but as I'm going through the pictures, I'm just like falling in love with it because take our house, which is really a good, nice layout. The
Great
backyard's
house.
nice. Then add in all of the features that we don't have, which is the big living room. I'm sorry, the big bedroom, the big closets, the pool and a hot tub, the cooking area, barbecue, cook kitchen, um,
Outside.
outside with
Okay.
the big sliding doors that open up into the backyard, and I fell in love. Like I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful." Well, then Noreen gets to the house, and then she starts FaceTiming me, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" Like the master suite had a fireplace in it, and it had like an office slash sitting area that led to the bay doors that you go out into the back patio on. But from the bed, you could see out these big bay doors to this really nicely landscaped backyard with access to the pool, access to the cooking area.
So what was your
And
backyard view? What did it look out to?
so when you came out, the patio was there, and right off of our bedroom was the cooking area, and then as you walk past the cooking area to the right, there was the dining room table under a covered patio, and then the pool with the hot tub.
Oh,
And it was not a big pool, but it was very serviceable pool. And the hot tub was one where you could go like kind of like JP's, where you go right into the pool from the
yeah.
hot tub. You just go right in the pool. It had mature landscaping, trees and grass in the backyard. Big walk-in closets. The kitchen was set for entertaining. It had the built-in wine clues, wine refrigerator. It had the double ovens. It was just it was a beautiful home, and everything was updated, so there was no, like, because it was built in the '40s, but everything in the inside was updated,
So did it have
and
the ceilings or did it have the raised ceilings?
it had, I guess it had pretty tall ceilings. They were not bolted, but they were definitely higher than 8 feet.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Those older houses in Central Phoenix, I just have a hard time with the low ceilings.
Yeah, okay, so these ones, it looked like they had the high ceilings, but basically, it was our house on steroids, and I told Noreen, I said, "I'm calling the mortgage officer. We're getting a pre-call letter. But let's make an offer on that house." And she's like, "Jason, I like it too, but we have this house." I said, "Noreen, don't worry. We can sell our house. We'll get it done quickly. We'll get a good price for it. We can use that money to." It was a pretty large upgrade in terms of price,
Hmm.
but we can use the equity. We'll have a nice down payment, so we'll be fine.
Famous last words too.
So I literally I called our mortgage officer. I asked him to give me a pre-qual letter. The only thing that was probably in hindsight was good is the mortgage officer didn't get back to us right away, because
Oh,
then we started, like, I let it sit in that I was moving forward, and
mm,
then I started doing the thinking, and then I started, okay, so
all
let's
right.
look at this for a second. We're gonna add, we're gonna like put a pretty large increase in our mortgage payments every month, and basically all we're getting is our house on steroids, which means that we're gonna have to sell our house to buy this house. Okay, and then I started doing numbers. So then I didn't talk to Noreen the rest of the day. Then Sunday I called or I texted her. I said, we have been talking about maybe doing a home remodel on our house. I think we might be able just to build whatever we want to steroid up our own house to meet whatever was on that other house, but I think we could do it for a lot less than the increased price of the home.
Yeah, it's fair.
And luckily, at the end of the day, we talked about it last night, and then it's like, you know what? Our house is really good. Our payment is really good. it serves our purpose. We don't need to go into further debt right now to upgrade it because it serves everything we need. And so we talked ourselves off the ledge. But that being said, 2 days earlier, I was ready to buy a house.
Oh
Ready
yeah,
to
man.
buy a new house.
I totally get that. Like I said, that's how I buy most of my vehicles. And I had a very similar experience on Saturday, just not with a house, but with a cherry red 2022 four-door soft top Ford Bronco.
What
And
you were thinking about? Were you going to turn in the truck or with
yeah,
the truck?
ultimately my plan was to pay off the truck and then buy one of those, but I figured, fuck it. I know enough people with trucks. Um, if I can make it work, I'll do it. And that's usually how my mind works. Like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll just figure it out. And I've traditionally always had a truck. I had an SUV for a couple of years, and it was fine. I liked it. I switched briefly to a Tacoma a few years back, and that was fine. Just too small for me.
Yeah.
Uh, the Broncos are nice. They're spacious, and the nice thing is, and this was my saving grace, is this one was a dealership Bronco. Which what Ford has done is they've given each dealership basically a Bronco to keep on the lot for a year, for people to test drive and to look at, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
So that's what this Bronco was. They had one previously that was like a baby blue that had just sold. So this is their new one. And I went looking for the price tag, and I went looking, I couldn't find it, and then I saw the dealer plates and realized what it was. So I went home and I priced it out, and really, the price wasn't that bad. It was like $51,000. I mean, for vehicles these days, that's pretty inexpensive.
And
So I
brand
started,
new.
yeah. So I started working the numbers on it and figured I could make it. I can do it. Hell, I might as well do it because my warranty's running out. The typical things you justify your head with. And then as I got to like just puttering through the garage and putting stuff away and cleaning stuff up, I was like, oh, yeah. But if I need to do this and that, it's good to have a truck bed. And ultimately, I talked myself out of it for now. But yeah, I wrestled with it. 9 times out of 10, I don't wrestle with it. I just go and do it. And the other trigger
Oh,
was normally you go to a car lot, the salespeople are right out there right away.
yep.
And for whatever reason on Saturday, they stood there and they watched, but they didn't make any kind of approach. So either they knew they couldn't sell it, or they were too busy eating the pizza the Pizza Hut guy just delivered.
So then your thought is that if a person gets into a situation where they have a spur of the moment, just unexpected purchase, they should just go for it.
Yeah, ultimately, like I said, I do most of my stuff, most of my purchases at spur of the moment. I'll change my mind 4 or 5 times, but ultimately, what's going to happen is I'm gonna do it. I just have to justify in my head like the financing options and how I'm going to pay for it out of my money, and my mind works in very creative ways like that. So I've made it work so far, but you know, I guess I should say there is a limit. Like I don't ever do anything like stupid frivolous that I won't get some kind of return on at some point, or something that if it's poof, it's gone, it's gone. Usually it's like a house or a vehicle, or occasionally gaming systems, but those are only a couple $100. I don't really think.
Yeah, I guess what constitutes a spur of the moment purchase? Because you're right. I mean, there have been times where, okay, maybe I didn't have, $400 or $500, but I'll come up with it. It'll be fine. It'll
Yeah,
be good.
yeah.
And
It's
so,
not like I've got yeah. Well, I did that over right before Christmas with the new iPad Max, iPad Pro. I needed a new iPad, so I a few months before I bought my new iPhone through Apple instead of Verizon, and I financed it through Apple because they had a great deal, and I've been paying extra on it, and I cashed it. I figured it out. I'm going to buy this, but how I'm going to buy it is I'm going to do the Apple Finance for a year, but I'm going to trade in my old phone, get X amount off, because the iPad itself was like $1,300, or it was $1,200. They gave me $450 for my old phone, and I was able to cash in all my credit card points last year, get $300 worth of credit toward the Apple Store. So I figured, well, at that point, I'm basically getting a $1,200 machine for, what is that, 450, like 750, so $450, whatever. That's a pretty good deal.
yeah, that's a really good deal. That's really
So
good.
so I did that, and I got my Apple points and went to go apply it, and found out the hard way, because this is just all trial and error, that I can't. And this is a lesson for everybody else. If you finance through Apple, you can only finance one thing at a time and pay extra on it. The minute you have multiple items on there to finance, you can only pay the payment. You can't pay any more toward it unless you're going to pay everything else off.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
And they also don't take the points from the Apple store. So the Apple credit I should have applied at the purchase, not at the first payment. So at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. It's like $100 a month total for my phone and this and whatnot. So it's still fine. But it was a lesson learned. Like, oh shit, I tried. I should have done more research on it. Spur of the moment thing. Still, it's not the end of the world, but a life lesson.
So what inside a person drives this spur of the moment purchase? Like, is it boredom? Is it just I want to do something different? Or what do you think drives a person to the spur of the moment purchase?
Both of those. I mean, the fuck it, why not? I need to do something different. This looks fun. And very few people can do that. Like our EP Tom cannot do this.
Yeah, I personally don't. I think Noreen is probably like EP Tom because she's not quick to make a decision like that.
Well, I was talking to him about the Bronco on Saturday. He's like, well, you got to do this. You have to do that. You lose 20% the minute you drive off the lot. It's like, why are you worried about all this? Like, yeah, but it's fun. Like, it's cool to have a Bronco. Like, it's a badass looking vehicle. Like it had the oversized tires. It had the soft top. Like, it looked tough. And he listed off a litany of reasons why it was a bad idea. It's like, this is what being a wet blanket is. Like, you're supposed to have, and he knows he is, so I don't feel bad saying it, but you're supposed to have some fun in life, and you can't just go and pay off a vehicle and save and put money down on the next one, because I fundamentally don't believe putting money down on vehicles. I think it's a waste of money. So it's just different viewpoints, I think.
So on the other side though, I think that for those people, the excitement of getting something new is overridden by the stress of putting yourself in a financial uncomfortability.
Yeah.
And I feel that's a very real feeling. So I understand why some people are hesitant about doing the spur of the moment. I've had it sometimes where I just like, man, I feel like I'm in a rut. I feel like I'm just kind of blah. And I feel like, you know what, maybe this will shake things up, a new gaming system or a new something or other.
Yeah.
Just shake things up, get some excitement back going in the day.
I've earned this approach.
Yes. Yeah. So I kind of fall into that category too. There's a show out on Showtime called Billions.
Oh yeah.
And the premise of the show is basically the district attorney of New York is going after a hedge fund manager who the DA thinks is doing illegal insider trading, illegal activities. And in the very first episode of the show, the hedge fund manager is thinking about purchasing a $66 million mansion, right?
Yeah.
And the DA is thinking, oh, if I could talk him into purchasing this mansion, then that'll give me the green light that he's doing something illegal. He's got the money in illegal ways, and I'm going to start investigating him. And there was a great line when these two characters face each other for the first time in the show, and the DA said to him, I don't think it'd be a good idea for you to buy that house. It might look really bad, And the guy said a great line. He said, what's the point of having fuck you money if you never say fuck you?
Yeah.
And I just remembered that, like, you know what? That's why the spur of the moment works for some people, because some people just say, you know what? Like you, I've got the money. I can afford the payment. I've got the money to do this. Why not? Why take it away from myself? I can enjoy it. I can enjoy the experience of driving it. Why not go for it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, why not? This is great. This is fun. This is what it's meant to do.
And yet, I'm glad now we're a week, 5 days away from this house purchase. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm glad the house is pending already. So I don't have to think about it anymore. And now we're even debating, well, maybe we wait till next year, maybe we plan it out a little better and just wait till next year. So, the spur of the moment versus the patience, that's the struggle.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone has to balance that out a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's what Janice and I were talking about too. Cause we don't really commingle our finances. It's
right,
just
yeah.
her money's hers, my money's mine. And
yep.
She gives me half the bills every month, and that's it. That's just how we do it. We haven't really purchased anything together.
Right.
like that. And that's kind of what, the Bronco like that would have to be something like that for me to feel okay with it. I mean, I could swing it on my own, but in the back of my head, I was like, yeah, but I need my truck, and how often would I drive one versus the other? And you start once you get down, you stop, you stop thinking about how cool it'd be, and you start getting a little practical about like your parking situation at your house or whatever else. And it sounds dumb, but it's all right. Maybe I should hold off on this for a minute.
And maybe that's the real problem is when you are practical, it takes away the spontaneity
Yeah,
that sometimes it's an exciting thing to have in life. That spontaneity of, you know what, I just did something totally spur of the moment, and our wish to be safe and practical, and kind of takes away a little bit of the essence of life, maybe.
yeah, I would go with that. I don't know. It's something that I think everybody struggles with, and I, my brother and I didn't, we didn't realize how little our family had financially growing up. But our parents are very upfront about it now because they scrimped and saved and worked overtime when we went to college and ended up never having to use their college fund on college for us because they just worked so much.
Yeah,
So they're very, they have a couple houses and vehicles and basically can do whatever they want to do. But they've saved their entire life.
yeah,
And they've come to a point where they've asked us, like, well, this is your inheritance. What do you want us to invest in for you? And we've given them some ideas, but some of that stuff's too risky for them still. I mean, it's for them, it seems like spur of the moment, but
yeah.
I guess it's just the perspective of you have to look at the long term gain versus the short term heartburn. Is the best way to put it, I guess.
Yeah. And frankly, my dad was the exact opposite. As soon as he got any money, it was spent,
Yeah,
whether it was on a trip, whether it was on remodeling his house. So he really was a firm believer in, no, I live for today because tomorrow I may be dead, so I'm gonna live for today. Screw it. And
yeah,
then of course, then what happens is, well, I have no money and I'm broke in my retirement, and so that was the ulterior. So there is a balance, right?
yeah.
And
I'll pay for
maybe what
cheaper.
works well is Noreen and I kind of are opposite ends, but not so far from the center that we can't have a little fun, but also balance out that practicality,
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to find our balance of that right now. Right now,
right?
too. It takes time. It takes a little bit of just finagling and trying to put money away here and there and having a bigger goal in mind.
Well, and I know it wasn't spur of the moment, but think of the EP, man. He moved to Denver.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
moved to Denver, dude. Like that's pretty like shocking thing. That so maybe spur of the moment doesn't have to be a purchase. Maybe it's just you know what? I need to move. Let's
but
try to
I
do
guess
something else.
I guess that defines what is spur of the moment.
Yeah.
Like is it is it something that like you wake up on a Saturday morning and by Saturday night you bought a house, or you wake up on a Monday morning and get fed up with your job, so by Friday you've applied, got hired, and you're selling your house and Flagstaff driving cross country. I mean,
Yeah.
it's perspective. It really
Yeah.
is, and that's what people have to step back and realize that we're all different. And you said it best, man. There's 7 billion different people in this world, so that means there's 7 billion perspectives.
Yeah.
So not
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be the exact same.
And frankly, I look at like what Tom did, and I wonder. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah,
Maybe I could. I don't know. I could probably. I could if I was fed up and just said, you know what, screw it, let's just move. I mean, we have a lot of good things in Phoenix, so chances are, unless something happens to her job or my job, we're probably not moving. But on the other end, um, like sometimes I wonder if Noreen, moves up in her company. Their headquarters is out of Massachusetts.
hmm,
And I've asked them, I said, well, if you move up to that kind of level of, the company, would you move to Massachusetts? And she kind of looked at me like, maybe, if the numbers were right, maybe, we don't have any
yeah.
kids or anything. And I thought, wow, spontaneity can be veiled in many different ways.
You can never say never.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest lesson from today's conversation is you can never say never. And just because it seems outlandish to you doesn't mean it's not outlandish to somebody else. I know a lot of people that would take that opportunity to go live in Massachusetts.
Right. Yeah.
And for the right opportunity, why not?
Yeah.
I've told Janice numerous times, like we have 10 more years till her youngest, 11 more years till youngest turns 18. Said we're basically, my parents here too. Said until she's 18 and basically my parents are gone, we're here. But after that, I don't care where we go.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about that one time that if we won the big lottery,
Hmm.
where you didn't have to worry about monies or anything else, and you could live anywhere, where would you make your home? Like, where would you make your main home?
I don't know.
Because I can honestly say, I mean, right now I thought, well, Phoenix probably, but if you could choose anywhere in the United States where because you don't have to work anymore, you may not have to choose Kingman, right? You may not have
Yeah.
to choose uh uh even Arizona. You could choose anywhere.
I'd probably go to Nevada or Florida because there's no state income tax.
Oh, okay. But you don't have to work anymore, so that may not be
That's
a
fair.
critical importance.
Yeah, I
Texas,
don't
I
know
don't
where.
think they have a state income tax either.
Yeah, I don't know where I go to be honest with you. It's
Yeah.
I told Janice the other night. It's like when you finally finish school and become a senior leader somewhere or a big time project manager or whatever it is you end up doing, that's fine. I'm going to culinary school.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm
I,
with you. I'm with you.
I will float this boat as long as you need me to, and I will make sure that we get where we need to go. But first chance I get, I'm out of this, and I'm going to culinary school, and I'm gonna have a food truck. I'm gonna run a meat shop of some kind. I'm just gonna sit there and create a chalkboard menu. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and how much of it is if you have the resources being spontaneous, it's easier, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh
if you're reliant on a job to take care of your family, it's a lot harder to say, you know what, screw it, let's just leave and up and
yeah,
go.
yeah. For me, it's leaving's just hard because I have a lot of shit, and housing prices are bad right now. So I've been very upfront about the fact. I even told this to my parents. If someone offers me 400,000 for my house, I'm taking it. And by the way, I'm moving into your side yard in a fifth wheel until I can find something to buy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that was kind of, coming kind of full circle as we wrap this up. That was kind of what it came to is that, I mean, the price tag on this new house was significantly more than what we currently have. So it would have been a major upgrade in the payment of the house as well. So when you add in, is it worth doubling our payment of house payment in order to get a house on steroids?
Yeah,
And ultimately, once the emotion got out of it and we kind of started thinking about it, we realized, yeah, no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's not worth it. No,
yeah,
it's not worth it. We like the comfort of not being house poor. And while this house was beautiful, and I think it probably would have been a good investment, in the future too, because of the location where it was, we just couldn't get over the fact that it was just too big of a price to let our emotions make that decision. And I'm sure if we crunched the numbers and said, let's practically think about it or mentally think about it, and if we'd said, yeah, no, it still makes sense, we would have probably still moved forward. But it just didn't make sense. It just didn't. It just didn't add up. Probably like your Bronco. Like when you start thinking about, it, it's like it would be nice. I could probably do it, but it just doesn't add up.
yeah. Well, that's the nice thing for the Bronco. Like, had it been for sale, it'd have been a whole different story. But for it not being for sale, it was kind of a saving grace because then I got to wait 4 to 6 months for one to be built and delivered, and
Yeah.
that's not the same. That's not the same. It's
Yep.
not the
I'm
same.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's a purchase that you've made, a spur of the moment splurge, or if you've done something spur of the moment, have you loved it or have you regretted it? We want to hear about it. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. If you have some comments about our EP's spur of the moment, life changing trip to Denver, where he now presides, hit him up on Instagram and Twitter at liquid_EP.
Believe me, if it wasn't for all these kids and taking them all over the place, I would have loved to reach out to the EP and like met up for a beer. But my goodness, dude, by 10 o'clock, I'm exhausted.
Well, yeah, I bet.
I'm not used to taking care of kids anymore, man. I'm
It's
I'm
hard.
I'm, I'm kind of I didn't realize how much I'm out of practice.
I got spoiled over the holiday break because one was gone for 2 weeks, one was gone for a week. Um, and it was just kind of nice. Like Janice and I kind of were able to go and do what we wanted and hung out and come and go as we pleased. But then once the girls got back and school's back in session, it's back to reality, man. It's boom, boom, boom. And now uh, winter and spring activities are ramping up. So it looks like I could be a volleyball parent and theater parent if things keep on the current trajectory.
Yep, yep. Well, we have a couple minutes, so we'll just get it out of the way. Monday night, Rams Cardinals. third time meeting. Who do you got?
Oh man, I don't know. Cardinals been playing terrible lately. And
Rams have been playing terrible too. So
I was talking to somebody, I've been watching the last couple of games. They don't throw down the field right now. It's because they have no D Hop, no Hopkins, and you can tell that's hurting them because there's no downfield threats. So they're just throwing screens and short mid-level passes. They got to find that deep game. They got to figure out where Jalen Ramsey's at and attack the other side of the field. And if Connor's healthy and they just pound the ball, I think there's a great chance. I think they can do it. But also on the other side, Stafford. He's been in a slump, but last time he was in a slump, who'd he break out against? Arizona. When?
Yeah.
So it's, I want to hope that playoff Stafford shows up because that's not a great Stafford, but you never know until you get there. So I'm hoping Arizona, but it's cautious optimism.
Yeah, I'm the exact. I'm hoping the Rams, but I feel an Arizona victory. And either way, both of our teams are going to have to go to Green Bay the next week.
No,
it's not going to be pretty.
Not
What's
necessarily.
that? Oh, not yeah, that's true. That's not that's assuming
Lowest seed would have to go.
the lowest seed has to go.
Need
Yeah,
Philly or
so
San Fran to pull an upset.
yep. Phil and San Francisco's got the best chance, so we'll see.
Yeah, so here's the hope. Nobody wants to play San Fran right now, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm hopeful, but I'm also prepared.
All right, sounds good, man. Sounds good.
So with that being said, Jason, take us home.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. We always appreciate you. That was Scott. I'm Jason, and as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some liquid courage.